Shalom, this is Brother Dobby from GMS Detroit. We'd like to say all praise to Yahweh, Ba Simeon, Shai, Ba Shimmy Karkadash, double honors to the elders, apostles of GMS who rule well, Shalom to the whole elect out there. That being said, we're gonna get to a quick lesson, and this is Raphael Trujillo. I think that's how you say his name. But nevertheless, he was a Dominican. He was a Dominican military officer and dictator who ruled the Dominican Republic from August 1930 until his assassination in May 1969. So nevertheless, yeah. So why I bring this guy up is because I ran across this short video and I wanted to show his picture so we can see who we dealing with. When he actually murdered a lot of the dark skinned Dominicans and whatnot, because he tried to join on to the American and America rejected them in the not the 1800s. In the 1800s, Dominican tried to join on to America. They rejected them. But then in the 1900s, they tried to join on to America again, and they rejected them. So in the 1900s, when they tried to reject, but then, so when they was getting rejected, he figured out why they was getting rejected because there was so many blacks. It was so many so-called dark-skinned Dominicans, and they didn't want that. I would say it was probably dominated by the blacker, dark-skinned, so-called Dominicans, which we know in this truth are the Simeonites. Simeon, and we know that they brother on the same island. That they live on the island of Haiti, right? We have the Haitians who are Levi, and we have the Dominicans who are Simeon, which are brothers, right? But a curse was put upon them that divided them, and we are getting to that curse actually. But I wanted you to put a face with the picture, so that's why I started with him right now, Raphael. So we'll look at this. We'll look at what happened actually with Raphael. We'll look at the stories. It's like a short video, like maybe 3 minutes long, and see what happened and what Raphael did. And then we'll hit it with a couple of scripts. So.
But he instituted. The Dominican Republic tried to join the U.S. in the 1860s and 1870s. But one of the reasons, listen to me carefully, one of the reasons, not the only reason, was that the United States was still very racist at the time and didn't want to acquire a population of mostly black people. They tried again a third time in the early 1900s, and the United States once again rejected them. That's when they got a leader that realized what the problem was and set aside to fix it.
And that leader was him. That leader was Raphael Trujillo.
Says the term Trujillo ethnic cleansing primarily refers to the Parsley Massacre of October 1937. Ordered by Dominican dictator Rafael Trujillo, the state-sponsored campaign systematically murdered an estimated 9,000 to 20,000 Haitians and black Dominicans living in the borderlands. The goal was the forced Dominicanization of the region. Now, one thing we know they're going to lower the numbers because they don't want to look bad. Trujillo killed almost 250,000 black people. He wiped out the black population of the Dominican Republic because he did not want the Dominican Republic to be he didn't want DR to be a black country. Dominican Republic, historically, just like Haiti, the whole island was black, but half of it, one half, the dudes were like, no. That's when he instituted La Mejora Raza, where he started doing the whole breeding program. And watch this. Right after the massacre, the next year in 1937 was the massacre where he wiped out the black population. In 1938, he reached out to European Jews and offered them the Dominican Republic, and they turned down his offer. Only 645 to 750 European Jews relocated to the agricultural settlement of Suswa. Do you know why the Jews turned down his request? He only wanted men. He didn't want the females. He only wanted white male Jews to come to his island. He said that we have a surplus of women for you. He was trying to get them to come in and breed and turn the whole country into, if the Jews had come with their wives, they would have built their own communities as they always do. They would have not integrated, and they would have eventually pushed out everyone. He did not want that. He wanted to create a new race. He wanted to lighten the race. So he offered 100,000 men, Israeli men, to come to Dominican Republic and lighten the race. Only 750 accepted. This little detail helps gives you perspective into the mindset of Dominican people. So when you meet Dominicans, that's why Dominicans, for them, being black is like an ultimate sin, because since 19 like there was a literal massacre in their country where they wiped out their black population, and they started importing white men to fuck the black women there and turn the race into what it is right now. And even right now, they still do not they're not happy with what it is. They still want to whiten it. For them, they won't stop. The end goal for them is to look like Argentina. Now you know. A lot of you don't understand the significance of this picture. This for me is the closest thing to a fucking prophetic painting I have ever seen in my life. Like it says, this made me understand why people spend hours analyzing paintings, because this simple picture right here.
Yeah. That hurts. It hurts, to see the Edomite sit up there in the painting, to see him sitting there with the smirk on his face, and the mama trying
Right
to
here.
show the kid, you know, the heritage which the kid come from, and the kid look nothing like the heritage that
Understand
it
why
come
people
from.
spend
I'm
hours
just looking at the painting right now, and the mama, but you see the mama is half, she is mixed. You know what I'm saying? So and then you have the Edomite right there, smirking, you know, and the mama's trying to tell the kid about the heritage, but that kid is a Edomite now. You know what I'm saying? Because of the father, we are what we are of our fathers. So that the mama could tell the heritage of the what of her heritage, and she probably is a Edomite. She probably was a rape baby or something. You know what I'm saying? Or something, and a half breed. And her father was most likely the one doing the raping, and he was probably a Edomite. You know what I'm saying? And so, nevertheless, she's a Edomite, and the baby's a Edomite, and he's a Edomite. They're all Edomites, but and she's showing her the true what they actually the heritage of the island, the true heritage of their people, and she's pointing to the darker skinned woman, so which was a Simeonite, it was a Simeonite, or a Haitian, they probably could was a Haitian or a Simeon, but nevertheless, let's get into a couple of scriptures. So we want to see how does this happen? This happened, in Genesis. We go back to Genesis 34 for this, and what actually happened. And let's see. And we had to read, so it's kind of lengthy, but we try to get through it. It says, and Dinah, the daughter of Leach, excuse me, the daughter of Leah, um, which bare unto Jacob, excuse me, and Donna, the daughter of Leah, which she bare unto Jacob, went out to see the daughters of the land. It says, and when Shechem, the son of Hamor, a Hivite prince of the country, saw her, he took her and lay with her and defiled her. He raped her. You know what I'm saying? So it says, and his soul clave unto Dinah. It says, the daughter of Jacob, and he loved the damsel and spake kindly unto the damsel. It says, and Shechem spake unto his father Hamor, saying, get me this damsel to wife. And Jacob heard that he had defiled Dinah, his daughter. Now his sons were with his cattle in the field, and Jacob held his peace until they were come. It says, and Hamor, the father of Shechem, went out unto Jacob to commune with him. It says, and the son of Jacob came out of the field when they heard it, and the men were grieved, and they were very wroth because he had wrought folly in Israel in line with Jacob's daughter, which thing ought not to be done. It says, and Hamor communed with them, saying, the soul of my son Shechem longeth for your daughter. I pray you give her to him to wife, and make ye marriages with us, and give your daughters unto us, and take our daughters unto you. So these heathens trying to, integrate with Jacob and them. Something that they was not actually supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? But nevertheless, and Shechem and them, there were those were heathens. Those are African heathens. Those are Canaanite heathens and whatnot. And so it says, and there's African. You know what I'm saying? And so it says, and ye shall dwell with us, and the land shall be before you. Dwell and trade ye therein, and get you possessions there and therein. And Shechem said unto her father, um, and unto her brethren, let me find grace in your eyes, and what ye shall say unto me, I will give. It says, ask me never so much dowry and gift, and I will give according as ye shall say unto me, but give me the damsel to wife. And the sons of Jacob answered Shechem and Hamor, his father, deceitfully, and said, because he had defiled Dinah, their sister, and they said unto them, we cannot do this thing to give our sister on to one that is uncircumcised, for that were a reproach unto us. It says, but in this we will consent unto you, if you will be as we be, that every man of you be circumcised. It says, then will we give our daughter unto you, and we will take your daughter to us, and we will dwell with you, and we will become one people. It says, but if ye will not hearken unto us to be circumcised, then we will take our daughter, and we will be gone. It says, and their words pleased Hamor and Shechem, Hamor's son. And the young man deferred not to do the thing, because he had delight in Jacob's daughter, and he was more honorable than all of the house of his father. And Hamor and Shechem, his son, came unto the gate of the city and communed with the men of their city, saying, these men are peaceable with us, therefore let them dwell in the land and trade therein. For the land, behold, it is a large enough for them. Let us take their daughters to us for wives, and let us give them our daughters. It says, only herein will the man consent unto us for to dwell with us, to be one people, for every male among us be circumcised as they are circumcised. So it says, so you get to reading this story. So actually, I'm just speed it up and just give you a synopsis of what actually happened. So Jacob and Levi convinced him to go get circumcised, and then let me see how much. Oh, we ain't got that much. I can read it. Okay, it says well, I leave off. I think okay, at verse 23, it says, yeah, we ain't got that much, so I'll just read it. It says, shall not their cattle and their substance and every beast of theirs be ours? It says, only let us consent unto them, and they will dwell with us. And unto Hamor and unto Shechem his son hearkened all that went out of the gate of his city, and every male was circumcised, all that went out of the gate of the city. It says, and it came to pass on the third day, when they were sore, um, that two of the sons of Jacob, Simeon and Levi, Dinah's brethren, took each man his sword, and came upon the city boldly, and slew all the males. It says, and they slew Hamor and Shechem his son with the edge of the sword, and took Dinah out of Shechem's house, and went out. And the sons of Jacob came upon the slain and spoiled the city, because they had defiled their sister. It says, they took their sheep and their oxen and their asses, and that which was in the city, and that which was in the field, and all their wealth, and all their little ones, and all their wives took they captive, and spoiled even all that was in the house. It says, and Jacob said to Simeon and Levi, ye have troubled me to make me to stink among the inhabitants of the land among the Canaanites and the Perizzites, the Perizzites, how you said it. It says, and I began, excuse me, and I being few in number, they shall gather themselves together against me and slay me, and I shall be destroyed, and excuse me, and my house. It says, and they said, oh wow, they said, should he deal with our sister as with an harlot? So yeah, so Jacob was mad. Jacob was like, man, you in front of us off, you know what I'm saying? So we read 30 again, and then we go to another verse, we go to Genesis 49 to back this up. It says, and Jacob said unto Simeon and Levi, ye have troubled me to make me a stink among the inhabitants of the land, among the Canaanites and the Perizzites, how you say it. And then it says, and I being few in number, they shall gather themselves together against me and slay me, and I shall be destroyed, I and my house. And their response was, they said, and they said, should he deal with our sister as an harlot? So hey, you gotta look at it. You gotta look at the Jacob. You gotta look at Jacob's way. Like, nigga, we surrounded by these damn Canaanites. I'm trying to make peace with them. We try to get along. You know what I'm saying? Whatnot. And you defronted us off by killing these damn Canaanites. Um, and they wasn't just any Canaanites. They was you know they was a prince. They was a Hivite. Was it how you said, a Hivite, how you said it, a prince. And so you go to verse 2. It says, and when Shechem and his son Hamor, the Hivite prince of the country, saw her. So they was a prince. He was a royalty. You know what I'm saying? So nevertheless, when they slew them and they slew their men and whatnot, that pissed Jacob off bad. You know what I'm saying? So he put a curse on his sons and whatnot for that. So this is a part of that curse that we see right now between Simeon and Levi. Levi being the Haitians and Simeon being the Dominicans, the brothers. We see the curse how the Lord divided them. And we go to the curse right now. And this is Genesis 49. And we go to verse 5. And it says, Simeon and Levi, our brethren, instruments of cruelty are their are their habitations. The instruments of cruelty are that they use are that voodoo. Levi was the Levitical priesthood. So they was good with that sacrificing animal. They knew that knowledge. They knew that science and whatnot. They had that. They still had that gift and whatnot of sacrificing the animals and whatnot, and they carried that on to them to this day. When we ever heard of voodoo when we was a young child, we always knew it was the so-called Haitians. It was tied to the Haitians. You know what I'm saying? And them, killing some damn animal or something. You know what I'm saying? So nevertheless, verse 6, it says, "Oh, my soul, come not thou unto their secret, unto their assembly, my honor." It says, "Be not thou united." It says, "For in their anger they slew a man." So he's tell you something about this is what he's saying. This is what Jacob the father saying. In their anger they slew the men. They slew Shechem and Hamor and all the other men that was with them. You know what I'm saying? It says, and in their self will they dagger down the wall. And when they mean they dagger down the wall, they actually fronted them off amongst them all them where they were surrounded by all them Canaanites. They made them look bad, you know what I'm saying? And and Jacob was fearful that them Canaanites will take revenge on them, you know what I'm saying? So nevertheless, and it says that we get to the curse. The curse is in verse 7. It says, "Cursed be their anger, for it is fierce." It says, and their wrath, it says, "For it was cruel. I will divide them in Jacob and scatter them in Israel." So yeah, they scattered them in Israel because they used to live together. They was amongst Judah. Simeon was amongst the southern tribe, the southern kingdom and whatnot. But then they know that curse, it stuck to them, and they wind up, being part of the northern kingdom and whatnot. So nevertheless, so then years later, as they if they end up on the island of Haiti and whatnot, the Dominicans and the Simeon and Levi, the Dominicans is being Simeon and the Levi's being the Haitians. They end up on that island, still that curse still cleaving to them and whatnot. They can't get along. You know what I'm saying? They fighting each other, they can't get along. And then you hear this guy, you see this guy, Julio, Raphael Trujillo, he he had a lighter skin, so he tried to cleave on to America at first, and America rejected him because America was the 1800s. You know what I'm saying? America ain't want to, bring them onto them as another country or as a part of one of the states or whatnot. And so they rejected them. They got rejected a couple of times, 2 or 3 more times, and then his only um, um, his only way of trying to handle that is to kill off the darker skinned Dominicans, and also kill the Haitians too. They got caught up in that raft too, and whatnot. Just to show you, hey man, hey, when that rape, robbery, and murder go real far, you gotta understand it was the Edomites doing a lot of the raping. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't even though their wives got down too, but there was a lot of the Edomites doing the raping and whatnot, which they was producing these Edomites kids with that will come up through the ranks and come up through power, and that Raphael Trujillo was just probably an Edomite. More than likely, he was an Edomite kid. You know what I'm saying? You know, and I bet if you go back down in his lineage from a few like a few of his fathers, like maybe to his great grandfather, his probably great grandfather was very very dark skinned. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Or not as put it this way, he wasn't as light as he was and whatnot. So you see this curse followed them all the way to the island and whatnot, and this is present to this day and whatnot. What the Dominicans don't want nothing to do with the damn um, the the Haitians, and even when they come over, the Dominicans come over here and play baseball or whatnot. Oh, we not black, we Dominican. We not black, we Dominican. You know what I'm saying? Like it's such a bad thing or whatnot. So nevertheless, I just wanted to point that out because I seen that video. The first thing came to my mind was what happened between Simeon and Levi, and what Simeon and Levi did, what they actually did that caused this to happen, caused them to be divided as brothers. So I hope you find some edification in the video. I'd like to say all praise to Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai Bashem, Rekakodesh, double honor to the elders, apostles, GMS who rule well and who we learn this knowledge from. And I would say shalom to the hopeful elect.